Grandmother? Oh, my only grandmother, because my dad's mom passed away when I was just a little baby, so I never knew her. Her name was Queenie, and my grandmother, my mother's mother, was Ada Humphrey. Her maiden name was Malley, and her and Granddad got married. She was only 13 years old, and we have a picture of her 13, pregnant with her first child. And they moved into, well, he had her on his farm, and all they had was a little shack. It was just actually 4 posts and a roof. There was no walls. That's what they lived in. And so she worked in the field with him. And then when she come in to fix dinner in the evening, she would also cut limbs. She would cut limbs and built a little picket fence around the 4 posts that was their shack. That was her walls. That was her protector to keep the animals from coming in and what have you. That's what they lived in there in Mississippi. And she had 14 kids, and when my mom was 5 years old, Granddad died in an accident. He was building county roads. They had set dynamite behind a stump, and they lit the fuse, and they all got away from the stump, and it never went off, it never went off, it never went off, and finally they went up there to check it, and just as he bent over the stump, the dynamite exploded. He was still alive. They put him in a wagon to take him into town, but he died on the way into town. So there's grandmother with 14 kids, and somebody asked her once why she didn't get remarried. She says, only a crazy man would marry a woman with 14 kids, and I don't need to be married to no crazy man, so that was it. Never bothered to get remarried. Grandmother was she was a very devout Christian. She was a Methodist, and one of her children, Uncle Roy, became a Baptist preacher, but that was there in Mississippi. You couldn't tell the difference in the Methodist and the Baptist anyways. It was just all country people. Just kind of, there was 3 churches. There was 2 Methodist churches and the Baptist church, and that was it. So everybody went to one or the other. And she lived there on her little house, and actually Uncle Joe, the oldest of the boys, really took care of grandmother. And of course there were the other boys that were a little younger. They also participated, and they spent all the money that they needed to take care of her. So she never really wanted for anything. She was on government assistance every month. She'd get her, get her 1 gallon of peanut butter and her powdered milk and powdered eggs and all that stuff from the government. And she used that to live on, and she had her sons to help her and take care of her. And she lived a happy life and had her kids around her. So I mean, all of her older boys and daughters lived right there close by, and stayed there and for as long as she was alive. None of them. I mean, some of them went off in the service. They came right back to Mississippi there, and right back to home when they got out of the service, and did what they could to take care of her. I know that I spent some time with her. Matter of fact, I wasn't the only one, and a lot of my cousins did the same thing. But our big deal was when she would take a bath in the evening, she would sit down in her rocking chair, and I would sit on a stool behind her and brush her hair, 100 strokes every night, and she had very long hair that she wore up in a bun the whole time. You couldn't tell she had long hair because when she came out of the house, she had it up in a bun. And so I would read the Bible to her. She'd sit in a rocking chair, and when I couldn't pronounce a word, she would tell me what it was. She didn't have a Bible in front of her. She knew what the word was coming up next, so, you know. But she just wanted to hear me read the Bible, you know. And a lot of my cousins have told me the same story. They sat and read the Bible to her. They sat and brushed her hair, and that's the thing that we all remember about her was how much a Christian. She wouldn't let me watch TV very much, you know. And I'm sitting there watching TV one night, and there was a circus on TV. And she got mad because the girls had short pants on. She just made me turn TV off. So anyway, you know, I mean, that was the way she grew up, and you know, and so her standards were her standards, and you had to abide by them. We used to have big gatherings up there, all of my aunts and uncles and cousins.
And how many aunts and uncles did you have?
Oh, well, 14 aunts and uncles, you know, so every one of them are married, you know, so and now they're all gone. Every last one of them are gone now, but anyways, it was quite good. I loved all my aunts and uncles. They were great people, good sense of humor. There was something constantly going on, and lots of laughter, and lots of good memories. I remember one time we were there at grandmother's, and we were having lunch. My cousin, that they call Scamp come walking out of the house, and his dad was Uncle Donald. And somebody says, "Donald, that dog just took a bite off of Scamp's chicken leg, and now Scamp's eating the chicken." And Uncle Donald says, "It won't hurt the dog. He'll be all right." So that was just kind of the way they all went, you know. But I was in high school, and I was at football practice, and my sister Denise came out to get me and told me that grandmother had passed away. She was 64 years old, and she had diabetes for a long time, and the treatment for diabetes was not as good then as it is now. But she died peacefully, and when they had her funeral, it was like everybody in the county was there. It was a huge crowd. And even to this day in Pearl River County, there's roads all around that area that are named after my uncles that have just been there forever. Grandmother was a great lady. She had influenced a lot of people, and of course, you know, country living, you know, like it was. We were 20 miles out of town, and everybody knew everybody, and you know, you couldn't get away with anything because some neighbor would catch you doing something wrong if you did anything. So that was just the way life was. But she led a happy life right there, and never went anywhere. Just right there, Pearl River County, Mississippi. That was it.
Ma'am, I told the church ladies once how people would always come to her mother for advice.
Yeah, she was just a steadfast person. So they'd come and visit with her, and she just whatever said you ought to do in the Bible. That's kind of the way she led people along, you know. So that's what they came for, you know. They were there to give us. You need somebody to talk to. That's all there is to it, you know. And so whatever stable person that's in your life, that's who you go to, because they're stable and you know it, and they're going to set you straight and tell you not to worry about things that don't matter, and stand up for what you believe in, and do the right thing at all times. And that was grandmother. So you know, once you get that advice and you keep getting that advice, then you can go on with life.